All right. Good evening, folks. This is episode 50 of the X Stops Here podcast show, whatever you want. I don't know why we do an introduction because nobody's ever here for the start of the show. We should wait 5 minutes and then do an introduction.
Right.
But tonight, it's a fine group of three, um, joined by regular co-host Jamie McDonald, and we have a new guest with us. His name is David Lawrence. David, how are you?
Hey, I'm good, guys. Thanks for having me.
Of course.
Excellent. Jamie, how are you?
I am awesome. I'm doing good.
Fantastic. So, Dave, kind of what we do here on the show to get us started, if you've never had the pleasure of watching, we usually start out by saying a little bit about what we've been shooting, what's been going on. The hope being that everybody is constantly performing some sort of photography-related task in their daily lives. I know Jamie pretty much takes photos in his sleep. So, Dave, what have you been shooting lately?
Well, I recently bought a new toy. It was kind of a birthday present for myself. I bought a Fuji Xe1. So, as you guys probably know, whenever you get a new camera, it's like, yeehaw, and you go out and you shoot a bunch with it. So that's what I've been doing, is taking my Fuji out and just, like, I work in Albion at Albion College, so I walk around the town of Albion, just, street walking, shooting, stuff like that. And then I'm always shooting stuff with my phone, so, I'm active on Instagram and Visco and stuff like that. So, yeah, recently it's just been playing with my new toy.
Very cool. How you liking the Fuji? I like the form factor. They're so cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Last summer I rented a Fuji X100 just to play around with, and I shot a wedding, so I took it to that up in Traverse City, and I liked it so much that I kept my eyes open for something, and then the XE1 was available on Fred Miranda for like $300, so I snatched it up, bought a pancake lens for it, and have been super happy with it.
The rest, as they say, is history.
Right. Yep. Definitely.
That's great. So I guess before we skip over to Jamie, Dave, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do? I guess we probably could have started off with the better introduction, but since Joe's not here to nail all the points.
You guys are doing just great. So I work at Albion College. I'm on the web team there and the marketing team. Like 20% of my job is photography over at the college. I do a lot of event shooting and portraits. Stuff like that, stuff for the website and social media. We have a pretty comprehensive Flickr gallery, and a lot of my stuff shows up in print, like on calendars and brochures and stuff like that. But then on my own, I love to shoot. I have ever since I was a kid in college and stuff like that. I bought a Canon T1i a couple of years ago, and that kind of sealed my fate, as far as like how photography as a hobby. And so since then I've done portraits, I've done weddings, I've done engagement sessions, but mostly I just love to shoot for myself, like, abandoned buildings and street photography and travel and stuff like that. I love shooting with my phone. I have a couple cameras. I've gotten into film in the last year, so that's been a lot of fun. I love it.
What's film? What is that?
I've got a Pentax K1000 that we found at work in the attic. It was like the old department camera. It's a K1000, which is like the Ford Taurus of cameras. And so nobody knew how to use it. Yeah, I mean everybody had one. It's kind of like the student photographer camera, But we had one just hiding in the attic, and so they didn't know what to do with it, so they gave it to me, and I've taken full advantage of it.
Cool.
I've actually got film sitting at my desk. Probably going bad.
I keep mine in the fridge.
That's great. Your camera?
Or the film.
No, I'm joking. Sorry.
Right.
Jamie, what have you been up to? I got a feeling you've got a bunch of stuff to share with us tonight.
I don't really have a ton to share. What's going on? There we go. But I'll do a screen share. All right, so it's been this is like 3 weeks since our last show.
Yeah, it's been a while.
So I've done a little bit of shooting. So I'll start off with just a couple of shots. Outside of the town that I live in, there's this old turn-of-the-century house that I've shot it before, but I never actually got very close to it when I shot it. And a friend of mine was coming out to visit, and we were gonna have a little cookout. And he took the back roads to get to my house and past that same house. And he's the kind of guy that when he sees it, he'll get out and he'll go find the owner. And so he found some guy on a tractor in a field next to the house, got talking to him, and learned a little bit about the house. Basically, like I said, early to mid 1800s, it was part of the Underground Railroad, which was kind of cool to learn that. There's actually a hidden entrance to the basement underneath the porch where they would bring slaves in to keep them hidden from bounty hunters. The owners of the house are going to demo it, but they weren't around, but the guy that lives next door to them basically said that the owner of the house doesn't mind if people come in and check it out. He said they can scavenge and treasure hunt in the house. They're kind of on their own if they do, you know, because it's not very safe at all. So we kind of went in and looked around, and I flew my DJI Phantom up to the second story of the house and flew it into the house from outside to get some aerial footage, because you can't even get to the second floor of the house. It's that dangerous inside. So this is just a shot of this room. There are all these old shoes. I don't know. So it just felt to me like it belonged in the era where like a tintype or a
it's got a very
wet photo.
Wet plate, yeah.
Exactly. So, you know, Nick Analog Effects, of course, here, because obviously I don't have anything to shoot traditionally that way. Let's see. Next photo is these weird bottles. I had to do some Googling to figure out what the heck FleshX is. It's actually stuff that people would have used to make soft lures for fishing with, but it's been around since 1893, if you can read the text on the bottle. Single, let's say this is a five shots at 2 exposure values each for an HDR. So that was just a couple of shots from exploring in that house. Handheld 5 shots. So you gotta love Olympus's 5-axis image stabilization and 10 frames per second shooting. And then decided to shoot some spring flowers and got photobombed by a bee, which was kind of cool.
I saw the file name of that and was really hoping somebody would be standing behind you.
Right.
Or standing behind the image.
I could Photoshop in some
A giant bee.
And then, you know me lately, the selfies. But so I have these lights that I got. It's a 4-bulb head that's designed to hold compact fluorescence. So I've got 4 35-watt compact fluorescents in this one fixture. And I just wanted to play with, I've seen a lot of photos, they have this like super high contrast look. There's a technique for it that was like popular years ago called the Dave Hill look. And I always wondered how you would achieve that kind of a look. This is pretty much straight out of camera except for some contrast. Obviously my eyes aren't like crazy zombie blue like that, but so just a little localized contrast and saturation on the eyes. But other than that, it's pretty much straight out of camera that way.
Yes.
Again, bare bulb, kind of a cool thing to do. Hey,
Lovely eyes.
I think
Lovely.
it's sexy. Okay, so
Okay.
Ladies.
just me, myself, and I here. And then this is
Sorry, Gaff, he's taken.
This is a shot from today. So we got our first little batch of weather rolling through, and me being the total freakazoid about wanting to get some weather photos in, jumped in the car and wasted a ridiculous amount of gas probably chasing down some clouds. But I thought this was kind of a cool scene that kind of unfolded in front of me. It was just this one lump of clouds pretty much on its own that just decided to dump all of its moisture out, and the sun just kind of happened to be coming out as it was doing it, so I got like this little rainbow out of it. But so that's kind of what I've been doing, man. Just, you know me. I've always got a camera. I'm always shooting something.
It seems like you've always got a new camera, too.
Yeah, I haven't gotten one in a while. A couple weeks.
What are you generally shooting with now?
Man, I've been shooting a lot with the EM10, so it's like the entry level to the OMD line. I've been shooting a lot with that just because it's tiny. It's behind me on the bed, or else I'd grab it. But right now on that, I've got another one of the Olympus body cap lenses. And I don't know if I showed you guys those before, but they're a replacement for your body cap, but it's a lens.
I did see the picture you tweeted out earlier. It was like a couple weeks ago, maybe a day or two ago. I don't remember, but it was absolutely
the size of
tiny.
an Oreo cookie.
Yep, that was it.
So I've been playing a lot with that. It's cool because you've always got a lens on it that way, and there's no focusing involved. It's just flip the little switch on it to take the protective cover open and just start shooting.
Now I noticed you were doing Was it? Oh, and just real quick, Sean, we're not having any issues with the feed freezing up. Just had to answer that question. Now, Jamie, I noticed it looked like you were kind of dabbling into a new. I guess you could call it a new type of photography. I know you've mentioned hybrid photography before, but
yeah.
Yeah, you want to talk about that a little bit?
Have we not done the show since I did that shoot on the train?
I don't believe we have. No.
Oh, geez, man, I should have queued up some of those photos. So, I went back to the abandoned train that I had shared some images from that before, and my brother is a barber, and he wanted some cool shots for his business. So I took him out to the train to do some shots out there, and one of the things that I made for him was a lot of people are calling them like motion portraits or cinemagraphs, or they're basically like really kick-ass animated GIF files, you know. So the way it works is you shoot a video, and you pick a frame out of the video that you want to be like your still frame, and then you mask out everything behind it that you want to be moving. So for the shoot that I did, basically my brother's just kind of sitting there looking past me, and behind him I've got all of his clippers hanging up on these hooks. And then I started them swaying when I shot the video. So basically what the finished product looks like is he's completely frozen, not moving one single bit, but behind him all these clippers are just kind of swaying. It's a really interesting effect. And I haven't done too many of them, and I'm going to have to open up my applications folder to see what it's called again. The app I'm using is Cinemagraph Pro. They had a deal on it on the iTunes App Store not too long ago. Normally it's like $150.
So this isn't an Olympus-specific...
No, it's not.
Anybody can do it.
There's a lot of ways you can do it. You can do it in Photoshop, but there's actually this app for it that makes it like super easy. So that's kind of what I've been doing with it. What's funny too is when you start doing those types of animated portraits, I find myself now, as I'm looking at scenes to shoot, I'm thinking, how could I work this into like an animated portrait somehow? Is there some way that I could use some of the elements of this to make one? Because they're really fun to do. They creep some people out the way some of them look, because a lot of the animated portraits I've seen usually are like a woman just staring at the screen, and then all of a sudden like she'll blink or something, you know. It's like, what the hell was that? You know, is the picture looking at me? But so I tried to do
Harry Potter
something.
style.
It is. It's like creepy, weird, but so I just decided to try to do something a little different when I did the one for my brother. You know, it was you know, not him like giving you the creepy ghost look or something like that. It just had elements in the background moving.
My favorite is from oh Lord, what was the movie with Jack Nicholson?
The Shining.
Where he was crazy.
The Shining.
Yep.
Harry and the Hendersons.
Yeah, the one where he he just sits there. Yes, Harry. And he gets a big old grin on his face. That one was
yeah.
creepy. Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of another thing that I've been doing.
Nice.
I'm getting new tattoos.
Yeah, that one really. I like that one a lot. Are you still gonna keep adding to that?
Oh yeah, there's more. I just was working in Photoshop before the show tonight, kind of adding some stuff to it that I'm gonna get it finished out with.
Planning on going full sleeve?
It's probably gonna be the way I'm going. My right arm is like my photography arm, so everything's gonna have like a photo-related meaning to it. Yep.
Can I share a project I've been working on?
You sure can.
Yes. All right. So so I was a part of the Jackson Rotary Club, and one day we took a tour of this building where these guys had set up toy train sets. You know, like the full city scenes, like where the train's coming in and there's hills and there's people watching and stuff like that. So I don't know. I always kept that in the back of my mind. And so one day I just emailed the guy that runs the thing and asked, hey, do you mind if I come in and take portraits of all you guys? So I'll be darned they let me. And I'm going to try this screen sharing thing. Here it is. So so they let me in there for a night, and it was really cool because I got to talk to the guys about how they collected all these trains and how they got into it as a kid and stuff like that. So like this is Gene, who has like all these parts are moving. The diner scene, like the car goes around and stuff like that, and there's a little tornado in the back that spins around and stuff like that. It's
I like the
it was really cool. Yeah. And but all these guys were it's like anybody with their hobby, like probably us with our photography too, is that they're totally into it. They're big, geeks about it, and they know everything about it, and they can tell you, they can describe it for days on end. But talking to these guys was really cool. So I took portraits of all the, and of course they're guys.
Yeah.
But it's this old building in downtown Jackson, and they have these entire just cities set up for the whole thing, and it was a lot of fun. So I'm finishing some editing on these, and then I printed a bunch out for the guys. So I'm going to stop by and visit them and hand out the prints of all the guys as a way of saying, thank you for helping me out or whatever. But
what's crazy
I
is
don't know. I'm kind of proud of it.
You'll make those guys' day.
Yeah. They can't wait for somebody to come in there so that they can talk about their hobby, which is like most hobbies. You're just waiting for somebody to do it. So.
Well, that's fantastic.
That's super cool.
Yeah, now that I'm now that I've been able to make connections with you on various social platforms, I look forward to seeing a lot more stuff. You shot some Ninja Turtle stuff as well.
Oh yeah.
What was that all about?
Let me pull these up. So my fraternity brother, he's like co-owner of a dojo up in the Detroit area. Oh, of course, Flickr's not going to load. That's all right. There's one. Can you guys see this, or do I need to do the screen thing again?
You have to do the screen share again.
Yep.
All right, hang on. So my buddy owns this karate dojo, and he works. They do like a lot of tournaments and stuff like that. So they decided to put together this entertainment expo where they would have like a bunch of guys come in, old wrestlers like Goldberg and Jake the Snake and stuff like that.
Cool.
And then as a part of it, they have a comic convention too. So that's going up in the upper left-hand corner. But in the middle there, they brought the turtle van in, the original Ninja Turtle van in from California, and then they had guys dress up as the Ninja Turtles, and you could go there and your family could get a portrait or whatever with all the turtles in the turtle van. But so the guys dressed up as the Ninja Turtles, and they would take their heads off in front of the kids, and then they would go to the snack bar and grab a piece or whatever. And just it's like Santa Claus taking off his beard and his hat and having a beer or something like that. It was really strange. So I followed him around for a bit, and I started taking photos of them like eating pizza, which is kind of coincidental and funny.
That's what they do.
Taking a snack break, water break behind the van, stuff like that. It was just really odd. So I shot pictures of them and I edited them all and I threw them up on Flickr. I'm going to write a little essay about them on my blog in a little bit, but Flickr's not being cooperative right now. Oh wait, here's where the guys go. So yeah, so here they are, like behind a turtle van, taking off their things, and then they had a Leonardo costume, but they didn't have anybody to work him, so they just stuck him in the front of the van with nobody in him, and he just sat there for the pictures. I don't know. It was just really weird.
That's pretty wild.
But a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, and definitely if anybody's interested in checking the rest of those photos out, I know it looked like we had a little bit of a bandwidth bump there for a couple seconds. Definitely connect with Dave and follow him on Flickr, because I've had a lot of fun the last couple days going through most of your stuff and checking it out. It's a lot of good fun shots.
Yeah, thanks.
I think Google's punishing us because we haven't been doing the show often enough.
That's right. Well, hopefully Joe should be back next week.
Will he be in Ohio next week?
Hopeful. I don't know. I don't think he'll. I don't know. Maybe. Who knows what state Joe's going to be in? Yeah, you're good. So I have actually been. I've been pretty busy myself. So the last time that we had a show, I talked about getting a new toy, and I did. So this has been
cool.
My addition to the workflow, I guess, if you will. On Jamie's suggestion, I picked up the Monoprice. It's like the mid-size I guess, drawing tablet. And it came with a pen. Pretty neat stuff. The pen, before it had a battery in it, felt like a cheap piece of crap, but afterward was really, really nice. My biggest complaint about it was that the bag that contained, I think it contained the extra points, which was great because when I opened the bag to get the batteries out, I didn't see the points in there and spilled half of them on the floor. So the vacuum cleaner will find those.
Now,
yes.
The nibs that came with it, are
Yes.
there different ones?
No, I think
like different. They're all the same.
Yeah, I think they're all the same.
You should find out if the nibs for like the Wacom styluses will work in those, because there are different. Well, there's different styles. So the one I use all the time is called the felt nib,
Okay.
and it feels like you're using like a felt tip pen. It's got like this nice texture to it, and then I've got some other ones that are like harder, and then I've got these other ones that almost feel like a brush, like they flex when you use them.
Oh yeah.
So it might be something to look into if you find that it skates across the tablet surface too quickly for you or something like that. You might find that a different nib is something more your flavor. So I'm just trying to say don't give up on it if it's not instantly feeling awesome yet.
So so it's funny that you said that because I also wedding season opened up this past weekend, so we had our first wedding. It was a blast. They did it at this gorgeous outside venue. Really, really nice. The church was actually a closed down parish that they reopened just for the wedding.
That's cool.
But so that was a lot of fun. I've been going through those. But kind of probably the coolest thing to come out of that is the fact that I haven't touched a mouse or a trackpad since I started using the tablet, and I don't know that I ever will. Because it's I go through. I would say that of all of us that normally are on this show, I probably have the highest tendency to roll right into hyperbole. But this is a game changer for editing photos. It has completely forced me to kind of rethink the way that I edit photos, but it has also really increased the speed at which I go through my workflow, which is really surprising because I didn't think that having to separate, because I mean when you work like this with the pen, you lose functionality of this hand because you got the pen in it. That's my right hand for anybody at home that's watching or listening. But it's forcing me to learn a lot more keyboard shortcuts, so especially in Lightroom, because navigation can pretty much be done with the keyboard. But even in Photoshop, a lot of the stuff is completely different. But I love the feel of it. It's taken me a little bit of time to get used to the edges, especially because for the longest time I had it set up so that it spanned both my monitors, which was a terrible idea.
Yeah.
Because you lose a lot of functionality. Yeah. So.
Do you use layer masking much?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the shit for that.
It is. It is.
It's so awesome.
Being able to do Photoshop's content-aware fill, it's insane how detailed you can get. And I was really expecting, because everybody knows Monoprice. They sell generic crap. Not crap. Sometimes it's crap. But they sell mostly generic stuff. And you think, okay, you're getting what you pay for, right? But in this case, the precision of this drawing tablet is absolutely fantastic. I was really, really surprised at how precise the movements were and how unafraid I am now of using it to do even the slightest things. Like I actually find myself having to kind of reevaluate how sloppy I was before, because it's very easy to take a large selection area and just slap it all over everything, but with the precision of a pen, it really makes it easy to kind of get into that. So I'm a big fan of the drawing tablet. The Monoprice tablet that I got, I want to say it was like $60 tops. Not very expensive at all. Definitely a great entry-level drawing tablet. And if anybody's thinking about getting into using a drawing tablet, I'm gonna write up a review now that I've had a chance to really kind of use it a lot. Um, so that'll be up on my website. I also don't have it here, but it's really been the year of new toys, I guess. But
And we're only a few months into it.
then we're only a few months. Well, eventually the money
Maybe that's
runs
a bad
out.
sign.
Yeah. Yeah. And well, so for anybody that's watching the show that isn't friends with me on Facebook, eventually the money's going to have to stop running out. My wife and I are expecting a little bundle of joy at the end of October, so I kind of got to get the toys in now because eventually the
Priorities.
money. Right. But I also it couldn't have come at a better time. So, well, the baby too, but I so I hurt my back last week because I'm getting old. I pulled a muscle. It sucked. But for a little while there, I had been talking, and Jamie, you probably saw random tweets or Facebook posts about this, but I had been talking about potentially switching from a shoulder harness type carrying system to a belt system. And just recently, I picked up the Think Tank Pro Speed belt and a couple of their skin modular bags. So the injury really couldn't have come at a better time because I needed an excuse to try out the bags, and this past weekend at the wedding was the perfect time to do it because I needed to get the stress off of my shoulders. And so by using the bag system, it kept all the weight on my hips, which was actually really helpful. So I was able to go through almost a 12-hour wedding. We left the house at 9 and didn't get back until much later. But I was able to keep all the weight off of my shoulders, which saved my back.
So heavy.
Well, yours might be, yes, but that's a much steeper investment than just a belt and a couple of bags.
So
You know what I've been looking for is like an Indiana Jones style bag. Like I want one that's like canvas and brown, and I don't want something that looks plastic and black and like artificial. I want, something dusty and leathery looking. So if you guys know of anything, let me know. But I want something,
Think Tank photo.
Yeah.
Yep, the retro bags.
Like I have the
Okay.
retrospective in Pinestone. It's not tan, but it's like this grayish green. Hold on. I'm gonna have
Brownish.
to
I
get it
mean,
now.
it's close enough. Something not black and artificial looking.
Let me stick my thing back in my
I'm gonna
ear.
okay. Give me a second. I was gonna screen share a picture. So it's canvas.
Canvas, yeah. But it has like that weathered look. And
Yeah.
I beat the crap out of this bag, and it's not wearing out at all. I mean, it's constantly like put down on cement, and just the more you wear it out, the better it looks.
Right. That's exactly what I'm looking for.
Yeah. No, it comes with it comes with a rain cover, which is great. And the thing I really like about that bag is I don't know what it's like up there, but I live near a major metropolitan city, and at times theft can be a concern. But when you're carrying around a bag like that, it doesn't look like a bag that says, I've got thousands of dollars worth of camera equipment in me. Please
Right.
take me off of my shoulder. It just kind of looks like you're carrying books around or, something dumb.
Looks like a European man bag.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
I didn't want to say it. But
My
yeah, that's-
my work camera bags have a giant Canon logo on the outside because that's
Yep.
what we use as Canon.
Yeah.
So it just screams like "steal me."
Yep.
Yeah.
Are you going on our Detroit Urbex trip at the end of this month, David?
I don't know if I've heard of that.
Uh-oh. Are you on our meetup group?
Is it in the group?
We're going to Detroit, I think the 22nd of this month. Urbexing. Don't take that back if you go.
No, I wouldn't.
the giant
I'll look into
bag.
that. Thanks
Yeah,
for the
definitely
heads
check out the retro bags.
Yeah.
I've got one. Jamie's got one. I love mine.
I've
tell
got an
everybody
affiliate code I can give you so you get a free gift if you
There you
order
go.
a bag.
up. Ooh, and what do you get?
I get a check.
Sometimes you get a gift.
It's mutually beneficial.
Yep.
It all depends on the
Everybody-
month.
Really? You've gotten
Right.
bags instead of checks?
I've gotten the Pixel Pocket Rocket
Uh-huh.
once or twice.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what
That
else.
sounds like something way different, but
Well,
It-
yeah, that's what everybody
I have a
comes to.
Pixel Pocket Rocket in my bag. actually.
that's,
Oh, it's red.
who decided on that name?
Somebody smart. We should probably find out who that was.
Hey, I've got a news story for you, Zach.
Oh, you do?
Somebody that we both know who has access to all of the most awesome camera gear ever is making maybe a transition to the Olympus OMD line.
No kidding.
And this person might work for somebody that rents out camera gear.
Oh, yeah?
You know who I'm talking about?
I think I might have a good idea.
And I don't know if she's made it public, and just the fact that I said she kind of narrows it down to like one person, but
Maybe gives it away a little bit. What I take it you've been... Well, I do know that this particular individual did have quite the sale going on, a fire sale, if you will.
some nice Nikon equipment.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that might be a good giveaway.
Yeah,
Have you been in talks with this person? And
I have
and,
been.
yeah,
I'm trying to work some Olympus magic with her, so
that doesn't surprise me.
yeah, I'm
That'll be
excited.
interesting to see if that person, be it male or female, does make the final push. I would be very interested to see what he or she is able to do with that.
You guys are so coy.
He or she actually shared a photo that he or she shot with the EM1 and I think the Voigtlander 42.5mm f.95 just the other day. No, she it's cool that somebody like Alex.
Not that self-portrait, is it?
No, that was an
Maybe.
awesome picture. No, the picture that I'm talking about is of a model with a bunch of like steamer trunks and old travel suit, hard suitcases and stuff. It was really cool.
Yep.
Shoot that she did, but I just think I think it speaks volumes to where mirrorless can take somebody. If somebody who's had access to and shoots with full frame APS-C medium format is seeing the benefit and the value in a smaller system. You know what I mean? That it's capable enough for them to make the jump into
Sure.
that. I mean, sure, she still has access to $50,000
Everything.
cameras if she wants them. If she needs to shoot with something like that. But I think I was pretty floored when she got a hold of me. I was like, oh my gosh, holy crap,
Yeah, I mean, from a day-to-day or from a like a everyday kind of standpoint, that's huge.
Yep.
Because it really kind of speaks volumes of the carry-on. Dave, I don't know. Did we touch on what you normally shoot with? I get terrible. I know you had
Maybe a little
mentioned-
bit. I'm typically a Canon shooter. I started out with Canon T1i. I've got a 7D at work that I love, and I've also got the Canon EOS M, the little mirrorless that Canon came out with a year or two ago.
Oh, Joe would love you.
Yeah, it's a great little camera. I mean, I bought it during the fire sale last summer, and I've been super impressed with it. It's my throw it in the front seat of my car camera, and I take it everywhere, and I just love it for travel and stuff like that. But the Fuji is kind of taking the place of that, just because I wanted to dip my toe in the Fuji waters in the mirrorless world, and I figured,
there's a better selection of glass for that Fuji, right? I mean, is the
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Like the 35 millimeter is one of the most perfect lenses according to just about everybody, and they've got a new 56 millimeter that makes for a nice portrait lens. It's like f1.2, something amazing. So yeah, but I didn't want to spend a whole lot of money initially. The Pancake was like $200. It's just a toe dip in the water, just to see and play with it and stuff like that.
Very cool. Yeah, you need to come to one of the meetup things that we do so I can check out your camera.
Yeah, love to. Yep. But I've got a big selection of Canon glass. I've got the 28 millimeter, the 50 millimeter, and the 85 millimeter, plus like a Tamron just general walk around zoom lens. It's 24 to 135, I think. So when I'm on vacation or whatever, I just throw that in there. But yeah, so I've got a bit of money wrapped up in Canon glass, but. So I'm not, itching to leave the system anytime soon. And I'm not unhappy with Canon. I do love the cameras. I do love everything that they do. But I don't know. There was just something about the Fuji. Like I saw the work of other folks, and I saw the files from it, and playing around with that X100 last summer. I don't know, just thought I'd take a chance. Which is
Cool.
probably how they get you, right, Jamie? Like,
Just a
you buy a little Olympus, you're gonna get hooked pretty quick.
We're gonna give you this hit for free. You just have to buy the rest.
Right, right.
Just like crying. I will say that speaking of non-Canon branded stuff, I will say that my streak of not taking my Sigma 35 millimeter off of my main camera body stayed true throughout the entire wedding
Really?
that we shot, on Saturday. Now, that's not to say that that was the only lens that I shot with. I did still have my 70 to 200 on my other body. Obviously for the long zoom that I needed for certain shots. It was another wedding where we weren't allowed to move pretty much the entire ceremony, so getting into the right spot was kind of important, and having that focal range. But going back through, it's amazing to me to be able to see the difference. A focal length aside, just in quality of the images. I don't know if
Is
it's
that the art
camera-
lens, Zach?
Yeah. So the last couple shows, all I've pretty much done is gushed over the Sigma 35, the f1.4 art, as being, and again, more hyperbole, probably the greatest lens I've ever used. And it still just continues to wow me with the quality of the images. It's probably one of the first times that I've been able to take an image straight out of camera and be happy with doing absolutely nothing to it.
Wow.
The one that I really like, and really the only thing that would need to be modified, I'll actually screen share here if I have the screen. I don't think I have the screen share app. But it's been one of the. Oh, I do have.
Have you tried the Canon L version of that, the 35 millimeter?
I have not, only simply because of price.
Yeah.
But from everything that I've read and everything that you read about the comparison, Canon's in trouble. So here's this was one of the shots, and this was straight out of camera. The bride wanted to have a little bit of fun. She had "I do" written on her shoes, and I asked her if she'd be okay with switching them. But just
cute.
the image itself was really just. I was pleased with everything that was coming out of that lens. So, really, really happy with the lens. I tell everybody that's looking to get something new to buy that lens and don't look back. In fact, I had yet another moment of zen a couple of nights ago where I just sat there and thought, I should just sell all of my Canon glass and replace it with nothing but Sigma primes. Nothing but the Sigma art primes. If I didn't need the focal length of the 70 to 200, I would pick up the 50 that they just come out with and the inevitable 85 that is sure to come out with. I did see the price on the 50
It's on
was
the way. Yeah.
yeah, it's and even the didn't they just come out with a 24 to 105 in that I don't remember, but yeah, it's I love their
And
lenses.
they're talking about a 24 from what I read.
Yeah, I also saw that. I'll tell you what, if it's anything like the 35, if it's anything, on par with the lenses, the rest of the lenses in that art line, I've said it before and I'll say it again. At least Canon and Nikon should probably be a little concerned. It's probably going to affect companies like Fujifilm and Olympus a little less, but the big two really. If they're not worried about micro four thirds and mirrorless, they should probably be worried about the quality of lenses that are coming out of Camp Sigma too. So.
Well, because Sigma is getting all the buzz right now on these lenses. I mean, people are just gushing over them before they're even out, and then they have all this press that comes out about these lenses, and then you save, 2/3 the price or whatever.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
So it's pretty hard to compete, and you're going to have to look pretty carefully to find the differences between these things.
Right.
Really, you're just paying for the Canon name or the Nikon name or whatever.
Sure. Yeah. Now I do know the Sigma art lenses are not weather sealed, so if you're a sports shooter or something like that, you're probably going to be a little bit more concerned. Maybe not so much during weddings, unless it's an outside wedding. I didn't have any issue with it, and in fact, we actually got a little bit of rain during the reception. But it's a couple of drops of water. It's probably not going to hurt a whole lot. But
Right.
yeah, now I did have an interesting. I guess I can get another badge on my wedding shooter photographer Girl Scout sash. I got to earn the get in an argument with an Uncle Bob wedding badge this time.
Congratulations.
Thanks. I'm really proud of it. He was standing directly across from me. He had appeared to be an older gripped Nikon body, and he actually had the flash on a bracket, an L bracket. At a wedding, he was the guest, and he was standing directly across from me during the garter toss. And every time I would get ready to take a shot, he was firing that flash about 3 or 4 times right in my lens. So I finally walked over to him and I said, "Sir, I'm here to do a job. I'm going to need you to either step to the side or stop shooting, but you need to get directly out. You need to get out of my direct view because you're absolutely ruining the pictures." I was like, "I appreciate that you enjoy photography, but I need to. I got work I need to do, and you're killing me. Absolutely killing me." And then he proceeded to run over my second shooter, who some of you may know is actually my wife. So, yeah, we were none too happy about that.
Meet you in the parking lot.
If he wasn't a guest of the wedding, I would have had even more problems. Just some random guy showing up. But yeah.
Man.
I saw there was a wedding here tonight.
There's a homeless guy with a camera around here. Have you seen him?
Yeah. So.
Don't you wish you could just tase people?
It would be nice. It makes me think I should carry around. I don't know if you guys ever did this when you were younger, but during the heyday of disposable cameras, did you ever take them apart and use the flashes as tasers?
No. Can't you like totally jack somebody up with that capacitor?
Yes. Yeah, you can.
I heard people get hurt.
Yep, you can overload it and shock the bejesus out of somebody.
So you've done this?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I plead the fifth. We used to do it to each other in school.
I don't want any trouble.
It was expunged. Okay, we won't ask.
Yeah, I was under 18. It was okay.
Wow.
Yeah. So normally, Dave, this is the time that we would talk about news, but Jamie and I are pretty much completely unprepared for the show. Normally, Joe will put a bunch of dumb news. We can talk about him. He's not here. He's probably not even watching.
Stuff about Google Glass or a new cell phone that's coming out or a tablet.
Right.
Not photography.
But, believe it or not, I mean, I do still keep up a little bit with photography news during the week. About the only thing, really the only thing that I saw in the last couple of weeks is Samyang, or Samyang, I don't know how you want to pronounce that, which some of you may know as Rokinon, and some others may know as Bauer, makers of such wonderful manual lenses as the 8mm fisheye for just about everything. Jamie, isn't there like a 7.5 millimeter?
Yep, it's in my bag.
They are teasing lenses like crazy.
Some
of which they're saying, yes. Some of which they're saying, or some articles are even saying that there's potential for autofocus. It won't just be manual. I believe it when I see it. But yeah, I probably wouldn't normally love it as much as I do, but I love seeing these other manufacturers getting in and really kind of ruffling feathers.
Yeah, it's nice to disrupt the status quo, kind of get the monopolizers out of there. It's funny, though, because initially Sigma's older lenses were okay. They weren't really that great optically. And build, right. I mean, they're okay optically. Build quality, they totally stunk. And I don't know what happened, but the shift that they've made now to this art line of lenses, I mean, it's a game changer. It really is. I mean, it's giving you so many more options for great lenses that aren't going to cost you what Canon and Nikon are charging for their L glass and their whatever gold label or whatever Nikons are.
Do you think they smell like blood in the water? Like there's something going on where all these lens companies are poking up their heads and saying, like, there's an opportunity here because, they have marketing departments that figure this stuff out. There has to be some kind of business reason why they're doing all this.
They've probably been trolling the forums and noticing, how many new people are. Okay, so the market's getting saturated with everybody getting a DSLR. Everybody starts out with kit lenses. And the more they start learning online, the more they learn, hey, I need to invest in glass. And then they look at like an 85 1.4 or whatever Canon's, fancy portrait lens is, and they're like, holy crap, I can't spend $2,000 on one lens, but hey, Sigma can come out with something that's pretty comparable for what, half the cost.
Half the
They're going to
price,
eat
yeah.
those people up, all day long. It's a lot easier to sell a $800 or $900 lens than it is like a $1,800 lens. So yeah, you're right. They've got people out there watching what the market will bear.
Well,
Right.
it's kind of that whole Canon and Nikon have kind of backed themselves into the corner where they can no longer sell, especially lenses. They can no longer sell, at such a margin because they've got so much invested into the company, into advertising, into marketing, into everything else. And I mean, they sponsor stuff, all this other stuff that Sigma doesn't do, stuff that Samyang doesn't do,
Right.
Right.
So they can afford
There's
to
the
sell.
cost.
Right. Yeah, they can afford to sell a $900 lens. And when you break that $1,000 barrier, when you get
Oh, yeah.
in under that, that's huge. I mean, even if it's $999, I'm more likely to buy a lens just like, do I need a lens? Yeah, I need that lens because it's under $1,000. You don't think about tax or shipping or anything like that. It's just that base cost. But if you were to tell me that it was a $1,050 or an $1,100 lens, I'd be like, you start getting into those four figures, and it's like, I just can't do it. And yeah, I do. I do think there's a little bit of blood in the water. I think it's like Jamie said, that people are talking, and word of mouth is being great for that. Look at what word of mouth has done for Olympus. I mean,
Yeah.
it's I'm sure Jamie can speak definitely, on that. But everybody that you talk to, when you get the good spokespeople, and not to sound like an old fart here, but we're living in a time where if a company can embrace the free advertising that is out there on social media, that's huge. Give somebody a T-shirt that says Olympus, and say, hey, here's a week's worth of borrowing this camera and lens. Do you mind saying a couple nice words about it? If you like it, you got to be ethical about it, right? You don't want to just say, hey, we're going to give you this if you say good stuff about it. But if the stuff's as good as it is, I mean, if Sigma would have come to me and said, hey, we're going to loan you the 35 millimeter, do you think you could write a review of it? I'd have been like, let me try it first. But after having tried it, I did it for free on my own. I bought the lens, reviewed it on my own. I don't have any kind of ties with Sigma whatsoever, but there isn't a day or not a week that goes by that I'm not talking about that lens to somebody. I'm not encouraging somebody to go pick it up to maybe think
Which is so cool that they're letting the quality speak for the thing.
Right.
It's not I mean, there is some public relations involved, but they're not spending much money on advertising, like you said. It's like, ask anybody that has it, and they'll say they appreciate it more than anything.
Yep. I think I hear more about that line of lenses from users than I do from advertising at this point.
Right.
So like you said, the quality speaks volumes, and a company couldn't ask for anything more than that. It's like
It'll be interesting, like on the sidelines of sports events, if you start seeing players like Sigma and Tamron or whoever else, like you see those white lenses of the L glass of Canon go away and they replaced by Sigma. Then I think Canon's going to start sweating a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
Well,
even
you
now,
gotta figure too. That's only one demographic too.
right?
Sports shooters.
Right.
And I mean, well, Zach's proof right there that they're already starting to bust into the wedding market, portrait market. So
Right.
I've been to, not including the wedding that I shot this year, I have been to, I think two or three weddings this year, and two of the three weddings that I was at, the photographer had two bodies, pretty standard, and on one of the bodies was a Sigma 35 millimeter lens. and I commented so before I got the lens, I commented to the wedding photographer, because who doesn't when you're a photographer? Hey, is that the Sigma 35 art lens? What do you think about it? And the photographer would say, I love it, and I would say, I'm super jealous. So you're right. I mean, it's free publicity, and I mean, just as a small example, when I say something nice about, I have and I still am actively shooting with my Samsung NX 1100. When I say something nice about that company online, they respond. They thank me.
Yeah.
That costs nothing. You
Right.
know, that goodwill costs them somebody's paycheck for a week. That's huge.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
You almost have to do it nowadays. I mean, a lot of these companies are reaching out to people online. You know, I'm a big Visco user, like both their iPhone app and their film stuff for Lightroom, and they have a fantastic social media presence. I mean, when I post a photo and hashtag it Visco, I mean, they respond and say, "Hey, nice photo. You know, thanks for all the photos you've been sharing lately," or whatever. It's like, oh God, I love you guys, and that It, like you said, it didn't cost me anything, didn't cost them anything, but it's like the goodwill you build of the people that use your stuff. That's I think that's better than advertising.
Yeah. So it's good, and yeah, there's blood in the water, and it's the only thing it's going to do is benefit us, and I can't complain
Amen.
about that. I can't complain about that. Not at all. Well, as we wind on down, can you believe 50 minutes is already coming on? Anything you guys want to talk about in the last couple minutes?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
So if anybody's going to be in my state, Michigan, at the end of September, I'm going to be doing a workshop for the camera shop in Muskegon. It's going to be a 2-day landscape workshop. Day one will be something along the lines of like a 90-minute in-class instruction on different types of camera settings to be used for different environments, different shooting conditions. I'll do a presentation, slideshow, talk about settings that were used for individual shots. It'll be, as I like to say, system agnostic. So I'm not going to be there strictly preaching the gospel of Olympus. It'll be for anybody to come to. Then day two, we'll actually do a photo walk. Location is yet to be determined. I'm going to do some scouting over the summer to find a great location. And we're going to keep the class size limited to between 25 and 30 people, though. So just kind of keep your ears open from me, and I'll kind of announce when it goes live on the Camera Shop's website and their Facebook page and stuff like that. So if anybody wants to register, they can. Olympus will be there, too, to loan out OMD EM1s, and actually it'll be like this kit right here, the OMD EM1 and the 12 to 40 f2.8. So they'll have some of those on hand for people to borrow and go shoot with. So if you're interested in checking out the OMD line for a day for, just a free loaner to use, swing on up. It'll be fun. And like I said, that's just at the Camera Shop in Muskegon. I'm trying to get some things worked out maybe for some of their other store locations. They have one in Traverse City, and one in Grand Rapids, and one close to home here in Lansing. So it'll be fun. It'll be a lot of fun. You get to hear me talk like you didn't hear enough of that tonight, and every Tuesday. So that's my...
And taking all the nice scenery up there.
Yeah, the Lake Michigan shoreline, it's probably going to be what we end up doing is somewhere along the shoreline. They've got great state parks. Lake Michigan shoreline is incredible. So for anybody who's not familiar with our state, it is pretty spectacular to check out.
It's a beautiful
our
state.
shores.
That's wonderful. And just to reiterate, I know it's been a couple of weeks since we talked about it. You are still selling the light brush, correct?
Correctamundo. If you type in to your webby browsery thingy address bar dealio, thelightbrush.com, it'll redirect you to our little merchant site where you can buy one. We actually assembled 6 or 7 of them last weekend for customers and shipped those out all over the world. It's pretty cool.
Fantastic.
We're
Well, go ahead
and waiting to see for some sample images from customers. That's what I
go
want
ahead
to see.
and put one together for me this week sometime because I just placed my order.
Sweet. Glad to.
I actually had forgot until just now that.
I want to see you use it during a wedding or a portrait shoot. Would be.
I would.
freaking
A
cool.
portrait shoot I could probably pull off. Maybe wedding would be an interesting break into. Actually, the wedding that we were just at would have been perfect because they did sparkler shots, and I think they would have been. They would have been really fun to get outside and do.
Yep.
I'll see what I can do.
Do that.
Dave, do you have any parting words for us?
I would encourage everybody to get to their local library and start looking up some photo books. I've been on like a 3-week kick of checking out some of the masters photo books like Gary Winogrand and William Eggleston and Callahan and Weston and all these guys who were like mid-century photographers who really made like street photography known, and Meyerowitz and all these guys. Your library is a great resource to look at all what the masters did back in the day, and it's a little bit humbling because you think the great idea that you had has already been done, and it was done in the 60s. But it is great stuff, and go to the library, check out a book for free, and see what they did. I'm finding that I'm getting a lot of inspiration from this stuff. It's given me some things to think about and try and things like that. So yeah, go check out the masters of this craft and learn a bit about the history of what we love to do so much. I think you'll pick up a lot from it.
There's probably a reason that they've been labeled as masters, right?
Right. Yeah, that's why they have books printed.
They may have an idea of what
libraries.
They're doing. Excellent. Well, Dave, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We'd love to have you back on. I
appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's been great having the format that we do now because it really kind of allows us to bring folks on from all different aspects of photography. So so like I said, we'd love to have you back. Jamie, as always, it's been another great chat.
Let's do it again next week.
Absolutely. So if you enjoyed what you saw tonight, go ahead and give us a thumbs up on YouTube. Probably not going to do the audio again this week. We're going to try to get back into that once things settle down a little bit, and then right about that time, my life will be turned upside down, I'm sure. So
congratulations.
Thanks. So just go ahead and give us a thumbs up. I know we've already actually got a comment or two on tonight's episode, but if you have any questions for us, feel free to drop them into our Google Plus page or email or find one of us on Twitter. Contact information is all over the place. And like I said, Dave, thanks again for joining us. For myself and for Jamie and for Joe, who's not here, this has been episode 50 of the F Stops Here podcast. There we go. Look, I can't start the show and end it. That's just too much. Anytime now.
Still live. Oh, no.
It took like 30 seconds to... Oh, man, come on.
Let me break out my cardboard and start breakdancing.
What do we say? Fill the dead airspace.
Still live.
Will you, please? Files has nothing to do with this. I'm with Jamie. Oh, okay. Google's mad at us because we really breakdance. There we go. Whew. No, it didn't stop it. Oh, God.
It's a never-ending show.
Failed to stop the podcast, or failed to stop.
Quick, somebody say something smart.
Stare.
Yeah, everybody just stare. Hello.